Okay, Ron, apologize for taking so long to get this to you, but just going to take you through a few things to kind of give you an idea of some things that we would typically look at in people that are presenting with the kind of things that you're presenting with. So what I'll do is go through kind of a series of things that we would look at, a series of stretches first that would allow you to kind of get an idea for what things may be causing the issue. So what I'll do is we'll get a few videos here of some things that we would use and actually have you try to do on your own and take a look and see which ones you have trouble with, and then get back to me. If you want, maybe take some video of yourself so that we can see where you're at, and it'll actually give me a chance to take a peek at how you function. So it's your right hip. You've had cortisone injections. None of that seemed to help. Gluteus medius tendonitis. Gluteus medius sits out here. Does a lot of stuff actually. It's loaded big time with this motion of the hip, which you should get when your right foot strikes the ground. You should get a little bit of this motion, which is called adduction of the hip. If we get that adduction, then we get a good load in that glute medius. A lot of times though, we don't ever get in there. It could be a variety of reasons. So I'm probably most suspicious of your right foot. So a couple of the things that we will do to take a look at the right foot, we'll have you start off in right leg balance. What I want to see just is how well you can, one, get through a good range of motion, but two, how well you can stabilize yourself through that range of motion. So what I'll have you do is just balance on your right leg. And we'll just do a little squat, and as you squat, just reach your left foot forward. And what we'll do is each time just try to go a little bit further, and we'll see how far you end up going. But go ahead and try that one for me. The next one I'll have you do is we'll do the same right leg balance, but this time we'll do a medial reach with the left foot. So we'll take that left leg, and instead of reaching it forward as you squat, we'll actually have you reach as far out to the side as you can. So we'll start kind of small, and then with each rep, just go a little bit further. And what we want to do is just see what reaction that creates in the right leg. We'll see how stable you can be while you're doing that. Give us a better picture of how well the foot works with the rest of the leg. So the last one we'll have you do, same kind of idea, except this time we'll actually have you rotate a little bit. So we'll go the same direction, we'll go sideways, but now we'll actually turn and point the foot. So we'll take the foot, rotate it, and reach it as far as you can, a little bit further each time. We'll just see how your balance looks. So that'll give us a good idea of where your hip is at as far as how well they can help control the motion that's going on with the foot. So the foot can either help the hip be successful or not. So this will give us an idea of where they're at. Next thing I'm going to have you do, we'll actually put you in a split stance. We'll put the right foot in front, and all we'll do here is just a little bit of a reach forward with both hands. We'll just do a little reach down, and just go to where you're comfortable. We don't want to go through any big range of motion. Certainly don't want to go into pain, but let's just you go with a reach down, and then a big reach up and back. And what we want to do is just kind of see how well you load through the entire chain, how well you can get through this motion, both through good range and with good control. Next reach we're going to do is a little overhead reach again, but this time we're going to just move more side to side. So this will give us a good idea of how well that right leg loads as the front leg, and how well the spine is helping to be successful, because the spine certainly issues with mobility in the spine certainly could feed down into the hips as well. So we'll just do a little side-to-side reach overhead. And then from there, the last one we'll do is just a little rotational reach. So what we'll do is just have you rotate and reach your left hand across, rotate and reach your right hand across. And what we'll just do here is see if you have any issues with your spine, hips, feet, mobility-wise or stability-wise. So you may find that you get a little more wobbly when you do one of these reaches, but that's what we want to find out. In the meantime, a couple of stretches I think that might help First off would be calf stretch. Very simple. Just find yourself a wall, and you're just going to start off by leaning into that wall, getting the back foot straight, and just kind of driving your hips forward. And as you go forward, you may find that you stretch a lot in the front of the hip. You may find you stretch a lot in the calf. Either way is fine. Really, I should be showing you the right leg, but I think it would be good to do both sides. So go ahead and try both of those, and it should get you a pretty good stretch. The next place I would go, be helpful if you have just a little step of some kind. I've got a little miniature ladder here. A chair would work fine. A staircase would probably be even better. What we'll do is set this up to where you can just have your foot elevated a little bit. Again, I'll show the left leg. This would probably be one that you would want to do on both, but particularly the right. And all you'll do, again, keeping the back foot straight, just put your other foot up and start off just by driving the hip forward. And what you should feel here is a little bit of a stretch to the front of your hip on the leg that's on the bottom. So what we'll have you do is actually go into that stretch for a second, hold it maybe a second, and then come back out. We want to be fairly dynamic just to mimic the kind of stuff that we'll be doing as we progress. So get a good stretch there. The next place I'd have you go is a little bit of hamstring. So I'll continue to demonstrate on the left leg just for the sake of the view. And what I think I would have you do is put your heel up somewhere, it doesn't need to be, it's probably about the height of your knee. It doesn't need to be very high, most likely. Again, if you have something to hold on to, even better. I've got the bike here, giving me a little bit of stability. But once you get this leg up, you'll already probably start to feel a stretch down here in the hamstring. But what I do from there, if you've got the stability, is just a little squat on the right leg. And so that'll give you a big stretch back here. Again, same kind of thing. Get into it for about a second and then come back up. Just a little bit of that. Next place we'll go, get a little bit of the groin. So again, we're kind of hitting the hip from all directions. But what I have you do is similar setup to the hip flexor, except now we'll actually turn this bottom foot out. Same idea. We'll just kind of take your hips and drive them towards that front foot. And this should give you more of a groin type of stretch, more on the inside of the hip. The last one I'll have you do is we'll actually start with a little bit of a crossover type position to where you have the back leg a little bit closer to the thing you're going to be reaching for. And we'll bend both knees just a little bit and then reach across. And from here, we'll just take your hip and kind of move it laterally and then come back. This one will be a little bit tougher to get into. What you may find is that you may need to just adjust your feet and not go so crossed and just start about right here. But this should get you a nice stretch on the outside of the hip. And that should get you a nice kind of global stretch where we get a little bit of everything from the hips. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. I would definitely do some upper body stretching as well, but I think this is a good start just to kind of see where you're at. The last thing I would do is make this a little bit more dynamic. So we've created more mobility. Now we want to create a little bit of stability through those same ranges of motion. So what I'll have you do is just what we would call a little lunge matrix or step matrix. And what that's going to consist of is just a step, kind of halfway between a step and a lunge, and we'll do one in each direction. So we'll do a forward lunge, and I'd say probably do 3 or 4 of these. So try 3 or 4 onto that right leg. Next place we'll go is lateral. The only thing I want you to think about with lateral is that you keep the right foot, the foot that you're lunging on, going straight ahead. So we'll do the same kind of thing. We'll just do a little short lunge, keeping the foot straight and coming back. But let's do 3 or 4 of those. And then the last place we'll go will actually involve a little bit of rotation. So in this one, we'll actually step back. So you'll just rotate, step back. Same idea, a little lunge, get into that back leg, and push back out. And then I think for you, I want to have you do one more. In this case, instead of going laterally, we'll actually go across the body. Again, we'll try to keep the foot going straight ahead. That'll be kind of an important one for this one because it'll allow the foot and hip to do some things that it might not otherwise do. So what we'll do here is just a little